The story of Job is one of the most profound and powerful narratives in the Bible, exploring themes of suffering, faith, and divine sovereignty. Job was a man from the land of Uz, known for his righteousness, wealth, and integrity. He was a devoted servant of God, living a life marked by kindness, generosity, and unwavering faith. Job had a large family with 7 sons and 3 daughters, and his wealth was immense as he owned many livestock and land. One day, in the heavenly courts, Satan appeared before God, seeking permission to test Job's faith. God, knowing Job's unwavering devotion, allowed Satan to test him, but he set boundaries, forbidding Satan from taking Job's life. Satan believed that Job's righteousness was only because of his blessings and prosperity, and that if these were taken away, Job would curse God. Suddenly, Job's life was struck by a series of devastating tragedies. His livestock were stolen or destroyed, and a great wind collapsed the house where his children were feasting, killing all of them. Job's response to these calamities was astonishing. He tore his clothes, shaved his head, and fell to the ground in mourning, but he did not curse God. Instead, he uttered the words, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Satan, still convinced that Job's faith would falter, asked for permission to afflict Job with physical suffering. God allowed it, and Job was struck with painful sores all over his body. Despite his physical agony, Job remained steadfast in his belief in God. His wife, seeing his suffering, urged him to curse God and die. But Job replied, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" As Job sat in ashes, his 3 friends Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar came to visit him. They were shocked by his condition and sat silently with him for 7 days and nights, offering their sympathy and comfort. Eventually, they began to speak, and their conversations with Job became the heart of the story. The friends insisted that Job's suffering must be a punishment for sin, believing that God only afflicts the wicked. Job, however, insisted on his innocence, arguing that he had lived righteously and was puzzled by the suffering he was enduring. He questioned why the righteous suffer, a question that resonated deeply through generations. Job demanded an explanation from God, expressing his confusion and deep sorrow. He maintained his faith, but he struggled with the injustice he perceived. After a long period of dialogue, Job's friends grew frustrated with his refusal to repent. Job, still faithful but questioning, longed for an audience with God to ask why he had been chosen for such suffering. Finally, God answered Job out of a whirlwind, reminding him of the vastness of his creation and power. God asked Job a series of questions about the natural world, demonstrating his omnipotence and wisdom in ways that Job could not comprehend. Through these questions, God revealed the mystery of his ways, showing Job that human understanding is limited compared to the grandeur of God's purposes. In the end, Job acknowledged God's sovereignty, realizing that his limited perspective could not grasp the fullness of divine wisdom. He repented for questioning God, not out of guilt, but out of a deeper understanding of God's majesty and the complexities of life. Job's faith had been tested and refined, and his relationship with God had grown even stronger. God, pleased with Job's humility and perseverance, restored his fortunes. Job's health was restored, and he was blessed with twice as much as he had before. He had more children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, and lived to a full, prosperous old age. Job's story teaches us about faith in the face of suffering, the mystery of divine will, and the importance of trusting God, even when the reasons for our trials are unclear. The story of Job is not just a tale of suffering, but also a powerful testament to endurance, hope, and the trust that God's plan is always greater than our understanding.